guys, and welcome to our next art activity. In a previous YouTube video, I read the book The Cat and the Bird based off the artwork of Paul Klee. And in that book, it has some great uses of shapes. The shapes like geometric shapes, I saw squares and rectangles for the buildings, and then I saw a lot more organic shapes like using on the animals like the cat and the bird. Lots of ovals and kind of football-like shapes and a heart. But I do see some simple shapes like triangles and circles in his picture as well. So we're going to use those simple shapes and lines today, and I'm going to show you how to draw this picture of the cat and the bird. So grab your drawing materials, whatever they might be, color pencil, crayon, markers, maybe you have oil pastels. Anything and everything is great to draw for this lesson. But first, let's actually start with a pencil, because I always like to be able to draw with my pencil and erase if I need to, if I make any big oopses. All right, I've got my picture close to me so that I can use it to help me in drawing. So let's start with a big U as we fill up almost my whole entire paper with that U line. Next, we're going to take from the edges of our U, I'm going to bring them down and in towards the middle. So this kind of makes like some triangle-like shapes. Those are going to be the cat's ears. And then we'll add a line kind of going across the top for the rest of his head. From here, where I've got my two like valleys, where my two triangle shapes have come down, I'm going to make a long triangle. That's for my cat's nose. And then we're going to add a heart for the end of his nose. I can do this by adding a V and then two bumps, make my heart. From here, let's add some curved lines going outwards like a tree, makes his lips and his mouth. And then finally, let's give him some whiskers off of that nose and some eyes. So going back up to the top where that triangle meets the valley, let's do a rainbow and a smiley face. That's a big football. It goes all the way to the edge of my paper. I'm going to fill the inside with a football shape as well. This time I'm going to make a curved line like a C and another backward C, kind of coming to a point at each side. Rainbow for the top, smiley face for the bottom of that eye. And here's my cat. But where's my bird? You know, I can put my bird right here in the middle of my cat's forehead. But maybe your cat isn't thinking about a bird. Maybe it's thinking about pizza, or maybe it's thinking about a walk outside like a tree. So I want you to kind of maybe come up with your own ideas of what your cat could be thinking about. You know what my cat's thinking about? It's thinking about going to the beach. So I'm going to do some waves like the ocean. I think that'll be kind of fun to do. All right, now it's time I'm going to start to color. Now this time as I color, I'm going to be a really smart artist, and I'm only going to use a few colors in my picture. And I want to start off maybe thinking of colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, like my warm colors, but I could throw in an extra color like purple. It's neighbors to red, so it would look good too. We call this an analogous color group. Can you guys say that word? Analogous colors. So as I start to color with my crayons or markers or colored pencils or oil pastel, whatever you have, I'm going to think about symmetry. So I'm going to be coloring the same thing on either side. So I chose about 5 colors right now, even though these two oranges are really similar. I want you to see if you can challenge yourself today. As a smart artist that you are, can you choose 4 or 5 colors? And when you color, try not to let those colors touch. That's your art challenge for today as I fill in my cat. All right, I'm going to speed up my time so that way you can see me finish this picture. Okay, as you can see, I am finishing up my coloring. If you noticed, a lot of the times I'll go around the edges first and then I can quickly fill in the middle with some quick back and forth strokes of my crayon. Make sure you keep your strokes smaller so that way you really don't have any skip spaces as you are coloring and it looks neat and complete. So now I'm just going to use my Sharpie and I'm going to finish up drawing over my lines. I like to do this as a finishing touch because after I color, sometimes those lines can get lost amongst the color. So this is a good way to kind of finish off your artwork. It doesn't have to be a Sharpie. It can be any kind of marker, or maybe you just go over it with a dark black crayon. So that way you can see those lines again within your artwork. But just make sure that you are looking carefully. You don't want to end up missing something. I hope that you guys all really enjoyed this lesson today. I can't wait to see what it is that you can create next.